heading out for our cookery class, we took a walk down to the harbor and watched some of the sailors as they took their boats and went out to sea. Particular ship, we earlier saw a cat walking around, and there's also a little tiny dog there on the deck. We hopped in the car and headed straight for our class. On the way, we got to cross a little river by ferry. And being from Seattle, I'm a girl who loves a ferry ride no matter how big or small the boat is. I saw a little advertisement on Airbnb for the Philleigh Cookery School. I reached out and set up a private lesson for just Jack and myself. The class is led by the owner, Rupert, who showed us how to make Cornish pasties and scones. I will put a note in the description box about how to get in touch with Rupert for classes at the Philleigh Cornish Cookery School. There are a lot of opinions about what to put in a Cornish pasty, and there are a myriad of different varieties. In this one, we chopped up Swedes and onions and then put some meat across the top. We used a pepper because who doesn't like a little bit of spice? And if you know me, you know I adore pepper. A little tiny bit of salt as we built up our creation. So the Cornish pasty is a meal that the miners could take down to the mines. And because their hands were covered with metallic residue, they held on to the crust of the Cornish pasty and ate the middle part and then throwing the crust away. Another thing to note is that a pasty from Cornwall is the only type of pasty that can be called a Cornish pasty. Back years ago, they made a law that it had to be from Cornwall in order for it to be called a Cornish pasty, because there were places that were making these, but they weren't in Cornwall, and they might have been subpar, and Cornwall shouldn't get the blame for that. So everyone who makes them and sells them in London or anywhere else in the country has them made in Cornwall, and then they're brought up where they are baked and sold to customers. Guess which one is Ruth Ann's and which one is Jack's? I'll give you a hint. Jack's is the one that looks perfect. Next, Rupert taught us how to make fresh scones. So we popped those in the oven and he served us our lunch. This white wine was beautiful, and it's from Cornwall. For dessert, we enjoyed our fresh scones hot out of the oven. Now for the scones, you can have it the Devon way, or you could have it the Cornish way. And the difference depends on if you put the strawberry jam on top or if you put the clotted cream on top. We tried both ways because why not? Tell us in the comments below if you prefer jam on top or clotted cream. So this afternoon we are in Cornwall and in the little tiny fishing village of St. Ives, which is a very popular spot for a lot of British staycationers. So earlier this morning we did our cooking class, but this afternoon we came here to have a little ice cream and sit by the seaside. We've also watched seagulls attacking people who are holding their little Cornish pasties, their ice cream a little bit too far with their body. And then you hear the call where they say, "All right, let's go." And they're squawking and then they attack. And so we've seen a couple attacks. No tourists were hurt in the making of this video. So, but we are avoiding the seagulls. So this little town is one of my favorite places in England. It's just darling. It's got everything a little seaside town needs. That's why I brought Jack here, because I want him to experience it.
Thank you for bringing me.
Of course. So the first time I saw the water here, I thought I might be in the Caribbean. And apparently it is shells, like shell sand, that comes from the Caribbean with the currents. I'm not sure what they're called, but essentially it is the current that brings all kinds of things up into like southern Ireland and into this part of the world. So when the sun shines, the water looks very turquoisey, and you forget that you are standing in England when you're looking at the water.
I saw some of that colored water on the walk yesterday with the guide, Adam, on the southwest coast.
Yes. So later this evening, we are going to head back to our little tiny flat in Mousel, where we have some salmon we're going to cook up. We've got pasta, salad. So we're sort of looking forward to that, even though we've been eating all day. And to be honest,
Not really that hungry.
I'm not really that hungry. Following dinner, we continued our cribbage challenge. This point, Ruth Ann had 2 games won and Jack had 1. But the tables turned very quickly and the student soon became the master, because by the end of our trip, he had won more games, thus becoming the cribbage champion of 2022. Thank you for joining us. In our next episode, we will visit the Eden Project, which is one of the jewels of Cornwall.